You have a brilliant thought in your head. You know the exact words, but when you open your mouth to speak English, your brain hits a wall of static. That moment of paralyzing silence isn't a vocabulary problem. It's a performance problem, and it's driven by one single lie you've been taught to believe, the myth of perfection. Today, we are going to burn that myth to the ground. We're going to replace it with a system that actually works, because the goal is not to be perfect. The goal is to be understood. First, you must accept that fluent English is not the same as flawless English. Fluency means you can share your thoughts without the conversation grinding to a halt. It means the other person understands you. That's the entire game. You've been told you need to sound like a BBC news anchor, but that's an impossible standard. Honestly, listen to most native speakers. We don't sound like walking dictionaries. We use filler words. We make grammar mistakes. We sound like we're trying to explain a viral video to our grandparents. If we grant ourselves the grace of imperfection, you must do the same for yourself. So let's be clear. Fluency is not perfection. Fluency is comfort, the ability to speak easily, without fear. And that comfort begins not with your mouth, but with your ears. The first part of the system is building your immersion engine. Before you can output language, you have to absorb it. A baby listens for thousands of hours before it even tries to say mama. They don't read grammar books. They absorb the sounds, the rhythm, the music of the language. Your brain is a supercomputer designed for this exact process. You just have to feed it the data. Listen to English every single day. Podcasts during your workout, YouTube videos while you cook, audiobooks on your commute. The most important rule is this: you do not have to understand every word. Your only job is to let the sounds of English wash over your brain. Think of it as a background software installation. You don't need to watch the progress bar. You just have to let it run. Once your brain is marinating in this new data, it's time for the part that feels the most uncomfortable. Step 2 is active production. You must make noise every day, even if there's no one else in the room. Speaking is a physical skill as much as a mental one. Your mouth, your tongue, your jaw have spent a lifetime building muscle memory for your native language. They are athletes trained for one sport, and now you are asking them to play another. You must retrain them. And you do this by talking to yourself. I'm serious. Narrate your life. Stand in the mirror and describe your day. I am making coffee. This coffee is good. Yes, you will feel completely ridiculous for about a week. You will feel like an actor practicing for a role you didn't want. That's the sign that it's working. The goal isn't to have an amazing conversation with your reflection. The goal is to automate the physical act of speaking, to make it so easy and so familiar that it frees up your brain power to focus on what you actually want to say instead of how to physically form the words. So you've started. You're listening every day. You're talking to your reflection like a well-dressed lunatic, and then it happens. You make a mistake. A word comes out wrong, the grammar is a mess, and that old familiar feeling of shame washes over you. This is the next great wall you have to tear down, the fear of imperfection. A mistake is not a failure. It is a data point. Every time you say something incorrectly, your brain is simply testing a hypothesis about how the language works. When you get feedback, either from a listener's confusion or your own self-correction, your brain refines the hypothesis. That is the literal, biological process of learning. To be afraid of mistakes is to be afraid of data. It's like trying to navigate a new city but refusing to look at a map.
Now, to make that effort more effective, we need to change what you practice. This brings us to step 3, master the building blocks. Many learners try to start by memorizing complex grammar rules and long vocabulary lists. This is like trying to build a house by starting with the intricate crown molding for the dining room ceiling. It's backward and exhausting. You need to start by mastering small, powerful, high-frequency sentences. These are your Lego bricks. What is your name? Where are you from? Can you help me? I am learning English. I don't understand. These aren't just phrases. They are conversational tools. They manage the interaction and buy you time. You need to practice these until they are as automatic as breathing. Say them every day. Record yourself saying them. Repeat them until they feel boring. When these simple sentences become effortless, you free up incredible amounts of mental energy. Instead of struggling to form a basic question, your brain is now free to think about the answer, to listen more actively, to observe the other person. You build complexity by combining simple, mastered blocks, not by starting with a complex idea you can't yet execute. Once you have your building blocks, it's time for the great accelerator. Step 4 is a technique called shadowing. This is where you listen to a native speaker and repeat what they say, in real time, just a split second behind them. You copy their words, their rhythm, their intonation, their emotion. You are not writing, you are not reading, you are listening and speaking simultaneously. This technique is powerful because it creates a direct link between your auditory processing and your speech production, effectively bypassing the slow analytical part of your brain that tries to translate everything. It trains the physical muscles of your mouth to produce the sounds and rhythms of English naturally. It is the closest you can get to installing the music of the language directly into your nervous system. Find a short clip from a movie, a podcast, or a speech. Play 5 seconds. Pause. Repeat it exactly. Do this for 10 minutes a day. The change in your fluency and accent will be dramatic. This leads to the final internal frontier, thinking in English. As long as you are thinking in your native language and translating, you will always be one step behind the conversation. You will always be slow. The goal is to close that gap. You start small. Look around your room right now. Don't think of the word in your language and translate it. Look at your desk and think desk. Look at your window and think window. Narrate your simple actions in your head in English. I am walking to the kitchen. I need some water. This dog is cute. It feels simple, almost childish, but what you are doing is building new neural pathways. You are creating a version of your internal monologue that operates in English. When you can, find someone to practice with. A friend, an online tutor, a language exchange app. This is where you take your internal practice and test it in the real world. If you've ever found yourself in a conversation mentally translating every single word back and forth, hit that like button. You're not alone. The techniques we've discussed are how you finally shut that internal translator down. And the final piece of advice is the most important. Be patient. Learning a language is not a software update. It is an organic process. It's like planting a tree. You plant the seed, you water it every day. For a long time, nothing appears to happen. You don't see the progress. But underground, the roots are growing, building a foundation. Then one day, a small sprout appears. With continued care, that sprout becomes a tree. Your progress in English is the same. There will be days, even weeks, where you feel stuck. Those are the days the roots are growing. You must keep watering, keep listening, keep speaking to yourself in the mirror, keep shadowing, keep thinking chair. Because one day, you will find yourself in a conversation and the words will just flow. And you will realize the tree has grown. So, let's review the system. First, build your immersion engine by listening to English every day. Second, build active production by speaking every day, even when you're alone. Third, treat your mistakes as data points, not failures. Fourth, master the simple Lego blocks of conversational sentences. Fifth, use shadowing to accelerate your pronunciation and rhythm. And finally, build an internal monologue by thinking in English. You can do this. The only thing separating you from the fluent speaker you want to be is a system and consistent practice. Your journey has already begun. Your only job now is to take the next small step. Tell me in the comments, what is the one step you are going to start with tomorrow? Just one. Let's make it real.